Rachel's story, deeply woven into the narrative of Genesis, is a tale of love, struggle, faith, and resilience. As one of the pivotal women in the Bible, her life with Jacob offers profound insights into human desire, divine intervention, and the complexities of family dynamics. Rachel was the younger who is first highlighted in the scriptures, drawing Jacob's heart from the moment he encounters her. This meeting took place at a well, a scene often symbolic of future unions in the Bible. Jacob, on the run from his brother Esau, found himself fatigued and hopeful for a new beginning in this foreign land. As he rested by the well, he saw Rachel approaching with her father's flock. The scriptures describe how Jacob, in a display of strength and admiration, removed the stone covering the well to allow her sheep to drink. This act was not only a demonstration of his physical strength, but also a sign of his deep affection, which blossomed instantaneously. Jacob's love for Rachel was genuine and steadfast from this initial encounter, setting the stage for a relationship built on devotion and sacrifice. Jacob's journey to marry Rachel was filled with trials, most prominently in the form of Laban's deception. In those times, marriage customs varied, and agreements were often complex, involving considerable service or dowries. Jacob, willing to work 7 years for Rachel's hand, demonstrated his commitment and patience. However, the wedding night brought a cruel twist. Laban substituted Leah, Rachel's older sister, under the veil of night, and Jacob discovered the deception only the next morning. Heartbroken and furious, Jacob confronted Laban, who defended his actions by invoking local customs that required the elder daughter to marry first. Jacob, deeply in love with Rachel, agreed to serve Laban another 7 years in exchange for her hand, displaying an extraordinary dedication that underscored his profound affection. Rachel's role as Jacob's beloved wife, however, was not without hardship. Though deeply loved, she faced the painful reality of infertility, while Leah, her sister and rival in love, bore Jacob several children. The rivalry between Rachel and Leah created an atmosphere of tension and sorrow. Leah, though less loved, found herself bearing Jacob's first sons Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Each child brought Leah a measure of hope that she would win Jacob's full affection, but his heart remained bound to Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel's inability to conceive became a source of personal anguish. In ancient societies, fertility was a highly valued trait, often seen as a woman's blessing and purpose. Rachel's childlessness thus became a point of deep distress, fueling her envy of Leah and driving her to desperate measures. In her desperation, Rachel demanded of Jacob, "Give me children, or I shall die," a statement that reflects the profound despair she felt over her infertility. Jacob, in his response, reminded Rachel that it was God who controlled the ability to conceive, highlighting a key theological theme in the Bible: human limitations against divine sovereignty. However, Rachel's longing for children led her to pursue other avenues, such as the custom of surrogacy. She offered her maidservant Bilhah to Jacob, a practice that was not uncommon in that era, with the hope that any children born of Bilhah would be considered Rachel's. Bilhah bore Jacob 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali, providing Rachel some relief and a sense of accomplishment, albeit through an unconventional means. Leah, not wanting to be outdone, gave her own maidservant, Zilpah, to Jacob, who bore him 2 more sons, Gad and Asher. This competitive dynamic between Rachel and Leah extended beyond themselves to their maidservants, showcasing the lengths to which both women would go to secure Jacob's legacy and their status within the family. The rivalry was further intensified when Rachel sought another remedy to aid her fertility, a plant called mandrake, believed to promote conception. When Reuben, Leah's eldest son, found mandrakes in the field, Rachel requested them, hoping they might bring her the long-awaited blessing of a child. In exchange, Leah was granted a night with Jacob, a sign of how deeply Rachel desired to conceive. Despite her efforts, the mandrakes did not yield immediate results. However, Rachel did not abandon her faith. She continued to pray earnestly to God, and in time, her prayers were answered. Genesis recounts that God remembered Rachel, and God listened to her and opened her womb. At last she bore a son whom she named Joseph. This name, meaning he will add, reflected Rachel's hope for yet more children, as well as her gratitude for finally becoming a mother. Joseph's birth marked a significant moment in Rachel's life, restoring her hope and sense of purpose. Not only did it solidify her place within the family, but it also foreshadowed Joseph's future role as a central figure in the lineage of Israel. Joseph's birth brought Rachel immense joy, but her desire for more children did not wane. Eventually, she conceived again, and this pregnancy was marked by both hope and trepidation. During the journey back to Canaan, Rachel went into labor near Ephrath, later known as Bethlehem. The labor was intense, and complications arose, foreshadowing the tragedy that was to come. The midwife, attempting to comfort Rachel, assured her that she had borne another son. However, Rachel's pain and struggle were overwhelming. In her final moments, she named her son Ben-Oni, meaning son of my sorrow, a name that captured the depth of her anguish. Jacob, however, chose to rename him Benjamin, or son of the right hand, an expression of his enduring love for Rachel and a desire to imbue the child's birth with a positive legacy despite the sorrow surrounding it. Rachel's death left an indelible mark on Jacob and the family. Her passing was deeply mourned, and Jacob commemorated her by erecting a monument over her grave. This monument, located near Bethlehem, stood as a testament to his enduring love and respect for Rachel, whose life had been filled with both joy and sorrow. The symbolism of her grave marking a journey completed and a legacy continued underscores the dual themes of love and loss that define her story. Rachel's life and death became subjects of theological reflection, sparking various interpretations regarding the reasons for her untimely demise. Some scholars speculate that Rachel's death was tied to a curse inadvertently placed upon her by Jacob. When fleeing from Laban's home, Rachel stole her father's household idols, a fact unknown to Jacob. When Laban pursued them, Jacob declared, "Whoever has your gods shall not live," not knowing that it was Rachel who had taken them. This curse, though unintended, is seen by some as the catalyst for Rachel's early death, a tragic consequence of her actions. Another interpretation relates to Rachel's earlier proclamation, "Give me children," or "I shall die." Some scholars view this statement as prophetic, suggesting that her intense desire for children foreshadowed the sacrifice she would ultimately make in giving birth to Benjamin. This view emphasizes the power of words and the theological theme that human desires, when expressed in moments of emotional fervor, can set the stage for future events. Rachel's story also carries significant implications for themes of faith, patience, and divine providence. Her long wait for motherhood, her rivalry with Leah, and her ultimate death while giving birth all reflect the complexities of human emotion and the trials of faith. Throughout her life, Rachel's actions were marked by a persistent hope for fulfillment, whether through prayer, custom, or natural remedies. Her life serves as a testament to the enduring hope that characterizes the human experience and the belief in a higher plan, even when circumstances are difficult to comprehend. Rachel's legacy continued through her sons, Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph, in particular, rose to a position of prominence in Egypt, where his wisdom and foresight saved not only his family but also countless others from famine. Joseph's role as a savior figure highlights the significance of Rachel's faith and determination, as her lineage played a crucial role in shaping the destiny of Israel. Benjamin's descendants also became a notable tribe within Israel, producing leaders and warriors, including King Saul, Israel's first king. Rachel's legacy, thus, was not confined to her own lifetime, but extended through her children and their descendants, who carried forward her spirit and purpose. In the generations that followed, Rachel's story was remembered and revered. Her grave near Bethlehem became a site of pilgrimage, symbolizing her role as a matriarch of Israel and a figure of deep emotional and spiritual significance. The monument over her grave, erected by Jacob, served as a lasting tribute to her life and as a reminder of the love and loss that shaped the history of the people of Israel. Even today, Rachel's story continues to inspire reflections on love, perseverance, and the ways in which faith can sustain individuals through life's trials. Rachel's legacy in the Bible is marked by a deep resonance that extends beyond her individual narrative. Her experiences and struggles reveal much about the cultural and spiritual values of her time, while also embodying timeless themes of love, resilience, and the pursuit of one's deepest desires. Her relationship with Jacob was not merely a story of romance, but a journey of profound commitment and sacrifice, laying a foundation for the people who would become the tribes of Israel. The struggles that Rachel faced, particularly her longing for children, speak to a core aspect of human vulnerability, illuminating the hopes and heartaches shared by many throughout history. In the ancient world, the act of bearing children, especially sons, was of immense social and religious importance. Women were often valued for their ability to contribute to the family's lineage and legacy, as children were seen as a blessing and symbol of divine favor. Rachel's journey highlights the societal pressures she faced, along with the personal sense of worth she attached to motherhood. As she watched Leah bear child after child, Rachel's pain and sense of inadequacy grew, becoming a defining aspect of her spiritual struggle. Her cries to God reflect a faith tested by delay and disappointment, as she pleaded for a blessing that seemed constantly out of reach. Rachel's use of her maidservant Bilhah as a surrogate to bear children is indicative of the customs and practices of her time, where such arrangements were sometimes made to ensure lineage. This act, although successful in producing children under Rachel's name, was a bittersweet solution for her. Although Dan and Naphtali were born through Bilhah, they did not completely fulfill Rachel's longing, and her heart continued to ache for a child of her own. Each solution she pursued highlighted her resourcefulness and determination, qualities that set her apart, but also underscored the emotional complexity of her journey. Rachel's relationship with Leah became a microcosm of sibling rivalry and competition, though it was steeped in far deeper issues of love, acceptance, and spiritual faith. The encounter with the mandrakes, plants believed to enhance fertility, further underscores Rachel's desperation to conceive. Mandrakes, often considered symbols of fertility in ancient cultures, were thought to possess mystical properties that could aid women struggling with infertility. Rachel's request to Leah for the mandrakes was a moment that illustrated both her vulnerability and her determination. This gesture showed her willingness to grasp at any possible solution, even one rooted in popular beliefs, despite her reliance on God's promise for ultimate fulfillment. Rachel's disappointment when the mandrakes did not yield the desired results reflects the limited control she felt over her own circumstances, amplifying her desire to conceive as a deeply personal and spiritual quest. When Rachel finally bore Joseph, it was a moment of transformative joy. The name she chose, Joseph, meaning he will add, represented more than just gratitude. It was a testament to her renewed hope. This name was both a declaration of faith in God's continued blessing and an expression of her desire for more children. Her joy at Joseph's birth was tempered with an awareness of the years she had spent longing for this moment, and Joseph's arrival was seen as a divine gift that validated her perseverance and trust in God's plan. In naming Joseph, Rachel also asserted her voice and her agency within her family, solidifying her place and purpose despite the trials she had endured. Her story continued with the birth of Benjamin, an event that would be her last. During the journey back to Canaan, Rachel went into labor under difficult conditions, far from the comforts of settled life. The complications that arose during her labor were severe, marking a tragic turn in her story. As she struggled to bring her second son into the world, she named him Ben-Oni, son of my sorrow, with her last breaths. This name conveyed the bittersweet nature of his birth, a blessing intertwined with her passing. In renaming him Benjamin, Jacob honored her by transforming this sorrowful moment into a legacy of strength and happiness. Benjamin's name would carry forward a meaning filled with hope and optimism, a contrast to the sorrow that accompanied his birth. Rachel's legacy is also reflected in the lives of her sons, who played significant roles in the history of Israel. Joseph, especially, became a figure of redemption and wisdom, rising to prominence in Egypt and saving his family from famine. His journey from being Jacob's favored son to a leader in a foreign land is a narrative of resilience and providence, embodying the characteristics of endurance and faith that Rachel had herself demonstrated. Benjamin, too, became a patriarch of one of Israel's tribes, and his descendants would go on to make their mark on the history of their people. As a matriarch, Rachel is remembered not only for her life but for her untimely death, which became a poignant symbol of love and sacrifice. Her burial place near Bethlehem is marked by a monument that has endured through the ages, standing as a testament to her story. Rachel's grave became a site of pilgrimage and veneration, symbolizing her role as a beloved figure whose life embodied the themes of hope, struggle, and ultimate faith in God. To this day, the monument is a place where people remember Rachel, seeking solace and inspiration from her life's example. Rachel's story has sparked numerous theological interpretations, as scholars and believers alike seek to understand the spiritual dimensions of her experiences. Some suggest that her declaration, "Give me children, or I shall die," was a prophetic statement, hinting at the sacrifice she would make in bearing her second son. Others interpret the curse that Jacob unknowingly placed upon her when fleeing from Laban's household as a foreshadowing of her early death, offering a somber perspective on the unintended consequences of human words and actions. These interpretations reflect the complexities of understanding divine will and the mysterious ways in which human destiny unfolds. Rachel's life illustrates the delicate balance between human desire and divine timing. Her persistent faith, even in the face of disappointment, serves as a model of spiritual endurance. Her longing for motherhood, while initially unfulfilled, was eventually granted, showing that while God's answers may not come when expected, they do arrive in their time. Rachel's prayers, her actions, and her trust in God's promises are reminders that faith is often tested in the silence between hope and fulfillment. The legacy of Rachel extends beyond the immediate narrative of her life. In Jewish tradition, she is often seen as an intercessor for her descendants, embodying a mother's love and compassion that transcends her earthly existence. Her story, imbued with profound emotional depth, resonates with those who face struggles, offering hope that even in sorrow, there is divine purpose. Her memory lives on, not only in the biblical text, but in the lives of those who look to her as an example of faithfulness and resilience. Rachel's story, though ancient, continues to find relevance as it reflects universal themes of love, sacrifice, and the search for meaning amid life's trials. Her journey through heartbreak and joy, rivalry and reconciliation, forms a powerful narrative that illustrates the complexities of human relationships and the enduring power of faith. Her legacy as a mother, wife, and woman of faith remains an inspiring testament to the ways in which individuals, through perseverance and devotion, can leave an indelible mark on the world. In the tapestry of biblical history, Rachel's life shines as a thread of beauty, complexity, and faith. Her legacy endures, reminding us that love and loss are often intertwined, and that faith in God's ultimate plan can transform even the deepest sorrow into a legacy of hope and inspiration. Rachel's story, filled with the ebb and flow of human emotion and divine grace, continues to inspire, offering a timeless message of resilience and faith in the face of life's profound mysteries.